Hello, we are at Elk River Falls in 2024. This is where I broke my back in 2001 on a trip with my classmates from Columbia International University. But while it's a place of injury, it's really more a place of God's faithfulness. His protection and His faithfulness, just in the way that it was displayed in my life. So I was able to come back a year after injuring myself in 2002, and then was able to come back on the 10-year anniversary to the day, which was not of my own plans. The Lord brought me back and said, "Liz, you need to come and remember what I did on your behalf." So those were the two times I was able to visit, but this is the first time, 23 years later, that I've been able to share it with Steve. So here we are at the top of the waterfall with fear and trembling, because it is not a place you want to...
Not fear?
Not fear.
Not tremble at?
Yes. There are warning signs around. Many injuries have happened here, and lives have been taken. So it's just yet another somber reminder of the risk involved at this place, but then also how much the Lord displayed His mercy. So yeah. So this is the bottom of the waterfall, where, I don't know, maybe 30 seniors, we all, after eating lunch by the river, we went to the top of the waterfall, looked down, and then hiked on down to the bottom, and then we were all on the rock here below, hanging out to watch people in our class jump from the waterfall. So I think 5 or 6 people had jumped. One person did injure her foot in the pool below, maybe striking it on a rock, not sure, or foot or ankle. She was on crutches afterwards. I don't think we knew at the time that immediately that she injured herself, not sure. But in my story, 2 of the guys that had jumped, Dan and Alex, they jumped and then swam across the pool. Dan was from Colorado, so he would see how long he wanted to see how long he could stay in the cold water, because that's what he and his brothers did growing up in the waters in Colorado. So he was just kind of waiting in the water. Alex had gotten out, was warming up in the sun, and then remembered a time where he and his family had swam near a waterfall and felt the current. So he got back in, maybe told Dan, I don't know. So they were swimming to the waterfall right before I jumped, which put them where they needed to be en route to help me when I jumped and was injured. So anyway, the Lord knew who needed to be where, and so they were able to get to me. There are a lot of details in there that I'm skipping over just for the sake of keeping the video shorter, but just evidence that the Lord was in the details and ready to protect. I do want to add that you can see that in a lot of especially to the right, there are places where the rock is smooth, and there would not have been a good place to hold on to the rock and also help someone in the water. Toward the left, similar situation, but Dan had me before Alex was able to get to him to help, and Dan said he just happened to reach up and grab a part of the rock, and there was a place to hold on to the rock and then hold on to me until Alex could get to us and help us. So they had to swim with me across the pool of water. I was not able to swim. And so it was an exhausting swim, and Alex said that, he could feel his head going under, and, in the way that he felt like he couldn't go much further. But another classmate, Carrie, was able to get to them about the time when they needed help, and could take over, and classmates helped at some point and pulled me up on a rock to care for me there. So just some neat things, and my classmates did a fabulous job of helping, providing rescue help. A few of them had lifeguard training, and even protected me from movement when on site. Protected me from movement when other people on site wanted them to move me. And so yeah, my classmates, and they were praying also as things were happening. And so yeah, it was neat to be surrounded by people who knew the Lord and could cover me in prayer and with help. So yeah. So before we got to the waterfall, and then at the waterfall, we read Deuteronomy 1 through 4. Just because. I love Deuteronomy because you've had the people of Israel, the nation, formed, and God choosing them, and just a whole bunch of things in there, giving them the law, getting them ready to give them a land that He has for them. And so they're about to cross into that land, and Moses is basically giving them this exhortation, and that's what the book of Deuteronomy is. He's summing up what has happened through the 40 years in the wilderness, and also like what God is calling them to before they go into the land. Moses doesn't get to go into the land, but he's preparing them for it. And so anyway, I think these chapters, the whole book is great. Deuteronomy 1 through 4 are also very special because it talks about how Moses is like, what other nation gets to be like us, where our God is so near to us and teaches us His way and lets us walk in His way so that it will be good for us. And but He is also warning them, like in the past they were warned, they're being re-warned that don't turn your heart from the Lord to worship other things, or don't form images to worship, whatever it may be, in the form of creation, the sun, the moon. Don't worship creation itself, and don't create images of God to worship. And of course, if you read the rest of the scripture, you know that they mess up in a lot of ways. And so do we. Yeah, so it just yesterday, I read in Philippians 2 that Jesus came in the likeness of men. So He comes and He takes on the form of man. And yet in Deuteronomy, one of those chapters, 1 through 4, maybe 2 or 3, it talks about how they were not to create any form. Jesus could take on the form of humanity, but they were not to impose form on the Lord. He is so beyond, so much more than the created things. So let me pause there for a second. I think the thing that stands out to me the most is that God is saying, I am a God that is near to you, and I give you commandments because I know that they are good. And I know that if you walk in them, it will be goodness through and through. And so it doesn't mean we won't have trials in this life, but as we learn to walk in the goodness that He has for us, He's holding us for a day when we will enter the land that He has for us, which is heaven. So we know there is this earthly land that is temporary. It is as if we are wandering in a wilderness, but we are heading to our inheritance, and where we get to know goodness in full, and where He will dwell with us and we will dwell with Him. And so anyway, I am reminded when I read Deuteronomy 1 through 4 that the Lord is calling me, Liz, cling to me, cling to my way. You have seen how I have protected you at the waterfall, but also all the way through life. I have cared for you. I have fought your battles, but you must trust me. He fought for me in October 20th, 2001, but He has also fought with me a number of times since then. But that doesn't mean to say that there have not been hard, difficult things in the years, and that there won't be more. In fact, now many of you know, if you are friends with me, that I deal with spine problems that could be indirectly related from breaking my back, but also new injuries to my spine, and so it has become harder as I age. But it's still, I'm reminded that the Lord still tells me, Liz, hang on to me, hang on to my way, let me fight your battles. This body is temporary, this land is temporary, but I will bring you into the land that I have for you. You will be with me forever, walking in my goodness. So it's a good reminder for today. So we're at Johnson City Medical Center, where I was transported first by ambulance, then by helicopter. And there are the helicopter pads. I'm guessing they are the original ones, not sure, but it's just a reminder of the Lord's protection. So we were walking away and saw this ambulance with the verse on the side, and to me, that is amazing. We looked it up, and God is like basically saying, don't fear, don't be anxious. I'm your God. I'll strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my right hand, my righteous right hand, or something like that. Look it up. It's a great verse, but it's just an echo of what we read in Deuteronomy, and then also what we've been reflecting on today. So I just think that's a gift from the Lord to us. So this is the hospital, and my family, I was in a room on this side because I remember looking across the parking lot and seeing my brother Ernie walk from the Ronald McDonald House across the parking lot. I also remember him coming into the lobby and doing some silly things on the camera in the lobby. And in the room where I was, we could go to a certain channel and see his silly stuff on the TV, and it did my heart good. So anyway, it all brings back memories, so I wanted to capture that. And this was the Ronald McDonald House where they stayed. It was such a blessing to them. We were able to take a quick tour today, so that was neat. And it's a beautiful home on the inside. I remember Ernie trying to show me the home after I checked out of the hospital, and I didn't have enough stamina to walk through the home, but I was able to walk into the entranceway and into this oval opening and see the beauty of the home then. So it was really neat 10 years later, and then now 23 years later to be able to walk all through the home, and yeah, so super great. This is the last stop of the day, Chick-fil-A on the left. On the 10-year anniversary, this is where God brought me. It was a Chick-fil-A opening, so I was doing the whole camp out thing. It's pretty cool, you can look it up. And had no clue it would be right across the road from the hospital. So there is the hospital in the background, and now it is totally blurred out. There we go. And so I could see the hospital from my tent in the parking lot, and it just set me up for starting my day of remembering. So today has been a great day to remember, and also super fun and a gift to be able to share with Steve. So thanks for watching and letting us share it with you. May the Lord be praised.
Amen.